everyone, I'm Jen Stone, founder of Feng Shui by Jen. As an educator and a professional consultant, I have personally experienced some of the mass confusion that people have about what Feng Shui really is. And because there are so many irregularities and inconsistencies and different styles and schools of Feng Shui, I found that the confusion has led many people to feel a little uncomfortable or even skeptical in embracing the power of Feng Shui in their everyday life. So in this video, I intend to highlight the difference between Western and classical Feng Shui so that you can have a little bit more insight when it comes to deciphering the differences between both. Many people in the West associate Feng Shui with locating the love corner or wealth corner of a home. This approach uses a so-called Bagua map that equally divides a space into 9 equal grids. This methodology is also called the 8 life aspirations method because each station or grid is symbolically related to the 8 different aspirations in life, such as love and relationship, fame and reputation, wealth, career, family, and health. Unfortunately, this oversimplified methodology is not otherwise a geomantic system that is connected to the traditional or classical approach. Many masters of traditional Feng Shui call it Neo-Feng Shui for its simplicity because it does not take into account the traditional principles, including forms and positions of the external landscape, the impact of directional energies, or the temporal influence of time and the annual cycles, all of which are essentially the key components and integral part of what makes Chinese Feng Shui Feng Shui. You have to remember that the 8 aspirations approach is a derivative of the West and was ironically popularized by Malaysian native Lillian Tu, and it dominated the West in the 90s. This became especially true with the rise of Black Hat sect esoteric Buddhism Feng Shui, a mouthful, but otherwise known as BTB or Black Hat Feng Shui. This approach was invented by the late Grandmaster Lin Yun in the 70s and was considered a bit progressive because this particular Feng Shui style incorporated ideas not just from Feng Shui, but it also borrowed various thoughts and principles from Taoism and Buddhism. And that is partly why Feng Shui is notoriously confused with being a religious practice rather than a logical and scientific system. BTB, or Black Hat Feng Shui, set about simplifying classical Feng Shui by also removing the Lo Pan, or the Feng Shui compass, thereby destroying Feng Shui's most basic rationale. You can check out my other YouTube video called What is Feng Shui for a brief explanation on what classical Feng Shui is. But I just wanted to reiterate the statement that classical Feng Shui is old, and 5,000 years to be exact, since its core inception. But its application and relevancy is still very much true even in modern life today. There is beauty and wonder in knowing that our ancient ancestors were gifted with the knowledge of the stars and the inner workings of energy through the framework of the 5 elements. Classical Feng Shui is a macro practice because it's all about working from the outside in, from understanding the landscape and positions of the mountain and water to the age and facing direction of the building. There is so much more to Feng Shui than simply rearranging furniture around. Thankfully, the late Grandmaster Yap Chang Hai and my teacher, Grandmaster Raymond Lo, were frequent teachers to a variety of national venues, including the United States, and have become the strongest advocates of classical Feng Shui in the West throughout the late 1990s. And many of their students, including myself as a representative to Grandmaster Raymond Lo, we are all fiercely keeping up with the traditions. And I hope that you will want to embark on that journey as well. At the end of the day, The simplified or Western approach is not all bad if that is what you choose to use. But it is important to note that simplified means it is not complete or holistic. So I do dare to say that you would be cheating yourself the opportunity to fully benefit from the ancient wisdom of Chinese classical Feng Shui. If you're curious to learn more or want more resource, there is a book that I highly recommend, and it is written by Dr. Stephen Skinner. He is also one of our Grand Masters and co-founder of the International Feng Shui Association, to which I belong to, and also where I originated my master accreditation. And he has written a book simply called Feng Shui History. And I highly recommend this book to all of my students that are curious in wanting to learn more about the root and the history and subsequent evolution of Feng Shui, and also how the knowledge of Feng Shui has impacted many different cultures and societies in different countries. There's also another book, and it's been written by yours truly, called The First Guidebook for Feng Shui Enthusiasts. You can find a copy on Amazon.com. And I was compelled to write this book because I found that through my teachings, there was so many confusion and misinformation that's being disseminated with regards to what Feng Shui really is. It is not a technical book, but it does serve as a great foundation book, a great starter book. I call it the Clean Slate book. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend those two books to get you started. And there you have it. I hope you learned something new here at Feng Shui by Jen. Remember, at Feng Shui by Jen, we only teach and practice classical Feng Shui. If you have any questions, please leave your comments below. Otherwise, you can follow me at www.fengshuibyjen.com. Until next time, bye-bye.